All right, guys, for today's video, we got something a little different. We're going to be reviewing this here joystick here. This is the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro joystick. It's about $35 on Amazon. I will have a link to it in the description, just a disclaimer. I'm not getting paid for this review. I just really like the joystick. However, if you do use my link, I will get a little kickback because, you know, it's one of those Amazon affiliate links. But anyways, you can buy it on whatever you want. I just really like the joystick. I think if you're playing Farming Sim or any other simulator, I think you should be using a joystick, especially if you're on PC. And this is probably the best budget option out there. Actually, I know it's the best budget option because it's really the only one. Okay, because there's those Thrustmaster ones. There's some of the other options as far as that goes, but this is by far the best budget option around. Okay, it's kind of the only budget option that you'll be able to get any kind of decent pricing on. So let's get into the review here. So the reason why I like this joystick is it kind of does everything you need it to, right? It's got all the planes of movement, so you can go back, you can go forward, you can twist it left and right, which is the big one. Okay, you've got these buttons on the side, you know, these two here. You got this button here, and that's how I use it to control my bucket. You can adjust your camera with this top joystick if you set it up that way, but you can really control this whole excavator, right? And that's not even getting into some of these other, you got a little switch here you could use if you wanted to. You've got 6 buttons on the side here, and you've got 3 buttons located, or 4 buttons located up top. And you could totally map these out to however you want. So once you get it set up, it's fantastic. Great way to play. So just kind of show you how this works. If I'm in this excavator, right, I have full control over this excavator. And if you got a wheel, even better. But you can just do this with the keyboard. It's really not too tricky. I kind of can't really hold the camera and do the keyboard at the same time. But you could drive with the keyboard, really just using these arrow keys on the left hand here to steer. That's what I do. And then I do everything else with this joystick. Okay, you could map it to however you want. And I'll get into the end of the video how to set it up. But that's kind of why I like this joystick. It does do everything that you need it to do. And you can farm if you're doing mining, if you're doing logging, that sort of thing. Highly recommend getting one of these joysticks. Like I said, 35 bucks. Can't really go wrong with that either. I do have to note this is PC only. I don't believe this will work on PS5, but PC it works. I think this model says it's like Windows 7 or something. Not sure. I'm on Windows 11. I think it's Windows 11. It's the most recent Windows. Works just fine. Okay, it's just a USB, plugs in, good to go. So you do have a little setup with it that is required, which is a little bit tedious, but not the end of the world. So what you're going to want to do to set it up is you're going to have to go into your settings in your farming simulator. Okay, settings, and then you're going to go to controls, and you're going to want to scroll to the right here until you see Extreme 3D Pro. And this is where you're going to be mapping everything out. So you're kind of going to have to go back and forth between your keyboard and your Extreme 3D Pro to kind of figure out what does what. So I usually find, so like the crane arms, this is kind of the shoe-in, this is what is being used for as the excavator things, but you basically have to map it one-to-one. So in game, to rotate the crane arm, you could use your mouse, right, left and right with holding mouse, or you can use the A plane. So how you map it out is you basically find what you want to do. You'll click into the button here, and you'll basically just copy it. So if I wanted my crane support legs to be activated with this lever, I would simply hit that button and then use click a button, and then that will map that button to that button. So now every time I hit this button, it will lower the crane support legs. Okay, and then if I want to put them up, I would simply hit this one, and now I can map that to that. And now these 2 buttons here will do up and down. Okay, I have mine set up currently. The rotate crane left and right, I went on the all terrain. So I have that on the twisting action here. If I want my bucket to go back and forth, I have back and forth, and then in and out I have with left and right. Okay, so you can kind of play with it a little bit to get it exactly how you want it, but that's more or less how you're going to map it. And there's a lot more you can map out. So you could also map out like the camera movements I have mapped out. Let's see where I have those mapped to. That's what I have these here. So look down in your vehicles. I map that to these controls here. Zooming in and out is nice to have. You could map that to these 2. A nice one is switching vehicles. You could probably map to one of these. If you're using something with a boom arm, maybe put that on one of these. But these triggers here is what I use for my bucket. You kind of play with it, kind of use it how you want, and it's just like using anything else in the game, using your controller, but it's way easier. And the best part about this, as opposed to using a controller, is on a controller, you're kind of stuck between doing this and this, or doing this action and, you know, this action. You can't do everything at once. This one, I can rotate, or I can pull in, rotate, and close my bucket all at one time. And you cannot do that on a controller because you have to hit L1 and some buttons, or R1 and some buttons. If you hit L1 and R1, it's totally different. set of buttons, and it does not allow you to do that. So you just have so much more control. It's much less clunky when you're using a joystick, and this one fills the job perfectly. So like I said, guys, highly recommend getting a joystick. This is the one I use. Again, link in the description. Let me guys know. Drop a comment. Do you guys use joysticks? Do you guys find that fun? Is it something you like using? Will you be trying out this one? I don't have a problem with the Thrustmaster ones. I'll link those too. Kind of all your options. I just recommend getting a joystick at all if you're going to get into any farming simulator of any kind. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. Definitely worth the money. Definitely worth the time to set up. A little bit tedious at first, but totally worth it. And another thing is, it just kind of makes your whole setup feel more realistic. Doesn't really matter how you're set up, but if you got a steering wheel too, even better. But just kind of, it adds to the feeling, adds to the immersion, and it just says there's a lot you can do with it. You can use it for other games too. This is technically a flight sim, but it works just fine for the purposes of farming simulator. So like I said, highly recommend it. All right, guys, one thing to note also is that it's not actually this joystick that's lagging. It's Farming Simulator. Those of you who play it know what I'm talking about. The game does kind of have a natural lag to it to simulate, you know, a big heavy bucket. When you shift it to the right, it gets the motors turning right. It doesn't actually turn the bucket right away. I'm sure you guys know that already, but I have gotten some comments about this joystick saying it looks kind of laggy in the video. It's just the video. It's not actually the joystick. It does have very good response time, so I thought I'd make that clear as well. Yeah, so anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and peace out.